Hello there. If you're looking to transfer to WGU's IT Management degree program, but you want to get more credits before you make the leap into WGU, then stick around because I'm going to show you how I was able to take and pass 18 transferable courses in the span of about 35 days. Stay tuned.
Dear me, 3 to 6 months. Watch how I make you proud.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode here at TehcZavier, where I help you go further in tech. As you may or may not know, I made the decision to enroll back into school, and it's been something that I've been kind of thinking about and not really sure about what I wanted to do. And based on some recent experiences with my current job and just the job market, I decided I probably need to get a degree so that I can make myself more attractive on paper. So in pursuit of that, I started looking around and came across WGU's IT Management degree program. I'm going to talk about that a little later, but I also came across some great resources that I think anybody, whether you're fresh out of high school or you're an adult learner like me who has a career, has a family, and needs to kind of get ahead of things or get back into the swing of taking classes and writing papers and doing exams and all that stuff, then I'm going to lay all that out for you in today's video. So before I do that, though, I want to kind of give you some heads up. This is going to be a long video, so I made sure to timestamp certain key areas of the video that I think you may want to return to. In my opinion, the entire video is really useful, so try not to skip too much because I try to give as much clear information as possible. The other thing is that I do have an affiliate link that I'm going to be sharing with you as a way to save some money on one of the schools that I attended in order to get a majority of the courses done. So with that said, take out a pen and paper, write some notes, pause, and let's get into today's topic.
All right, so here we are in front of the computer, and today we're going to talk about a couple different topics as it relates to the strategy. So we're going to talk about just the IT management degree program. Some of you, it may be the first time that you're hearing about WGU, you're interested in the program, or you came across my video. Just want to give you a little bit of background about the program. Next, we'll talk about the WGU Partner Program, and this partner program is what makes the strategy really possible. And in particular, there are two partners that we're going to focus on. The first one is study.com. Next one is sophia.org. And with both of these partner programs, we're going to look at an overview of features they provide, the cost, pros and cons, in my opinion, and then the strategy that I used. Next, we're going to talk about the WGU Transfer Process just in general. And I have a special kind of free tool that I think will help you as you're trying to put the pieces together for your own transfer process. So let's go ahead and get into today's content. All right, so I'm just going to go straight to the courses and competencies section. So we click here, courses and competencies. It'll bring us down to all the different courses that are part of this program. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a total of 40 courses that you'll have to take, and they break up the way you see them here. So you have general ed courses, and all these are listed. You have business management courses, business core, network and security, human resources, data management, IT fundamentals, business of IT, and then the capstone and portfolio project courses. All right, so here I am at the partners.wgu.edu webpage. I'll be sure to link this below if you want to look it up on your own. Essentially, this is the guideline for transferring courses from a either state agreement school or national agreement school. But nonetheless, there's quite a few down here. Now, the ones that I make use of, again, are Sophia and Study. So we're going to go ahead and look at both of these independently, just so you can see how many courses transfer over and what the partner agreement actually looks like. So let's start with Sophia Learning LLC. And if this is your first time navigating the website, you're going to come to a page like this, and you're going to look up the program either by way of the College of Business link here or the College of Information Technology. It kind of falls under both. So I'm going to go ahead and left click on this. As you can see, this is the WGU Pathway Agreement. You can print this out or save it if you'd like to for later. This is the most up-to-date version. So just make sure you use the link that I provide in order to make sure that the courses are still transferable when you're ready to attend. But as you can see, they break it down by the same categories that we saw on the website. So you have the WGU General Ed courses. And in this case of Sophia, all except for one is transferable to WGU. So that's pretty cool. And you can see the total number of credits or units. So 30 units in total. Then you can see the WGU core courses. So these are also maybe considered lower division courses, but they're part of the core of the business degree. And then lastly, you can see some of the kind of like higher upper division courses or more technical courses. And out of the 18, we have 6 units that are available. And then these here, these are not transferable. So you have a total of 30 that have to be taken through WGU. All right, so the second set of transfer courses exists with study.com. And again, same thing with the WGU General Ed courses. In this case, study.com satisfies all of them. So they have a course for every course that you need to take at WGU. Then for the core courses, there's a lot of courses that transfer over from study.com. So this is definitely a distinguishing factor from Sophia. So as you can see, there's quite a bit here with the exception of 2, it looks like. The Intro to Spreadsheets course here, and then the Innovative and Strategic Thinking course. And as we go down, you'll see the WGU additional courses. Again, just about everything with the exception of this Workforce Planning, Recruitment and Selection course. They don't have an equivalent at study.com. And again, the same thing applies for the non-transferable courses. Because they're non-transferable, you won't see them here at WGU, or you won't be able to take them through an outside program. Okay, so the next thing we're going to discuss is each of the individual schools. So I like to start with sophia.org. It's probably my favorite out of the two. They're both really good, but if I had to pick one that I wish I could take all my courses through, it would be Sophia. And we're going to explore the reasons why in just a second. But here's the homepage. You can check this out when you have some time. I'm going to just quickly go to the How It Works section of the page, just so we can get an idea of what Sophia has to offer. So if you scroll down here, we'll see the membership options here. So they have a 1 month $99 membership that auto renews unless you cancel it ahead of time. You have a 4-month package that allows you to save 25% overall. Basically, you get 1 month free. And then you have a 12-month program that you can save over half of the cost by using this program. Now, one thing I want to mention to you is that based off the strategy that I implemented, you may be able to get by with just 1 to 2 months, at the most, maybe 4 months, but it really depends on how quickly you move to the content and how well you take advantage of what Sophia has to offer. So if you have to do your general ed courses in addition to the courses that I took, then you may end up taking about 16 classes in general or in total, which may cause you to have to do the 1 to 2 months at the most. So just keep that in mind. You don't necessarily have to rush to pay for the best deal just because it's the best deal. It's really about how much time you actually need to devote to the program. And if we move on down a little bit, you're going to see some of the FAQs. So we're just going to quickly go through each of these. Now, this is the one that kind of confused me at first. So it says, are you limited to 2 courses each month? And it says you can take as many courses as you like each month and are allowed to be active in 2 courses at the same time. So when I first looked at this, I was like, how are you taking limited courses when you're only limiting me to 2 courses at a time? But it's just that you can only take 2 courses concurrently. It's important to keep this in mind because this is going to play a part in our overall strategy once we get to that point. So keep that in mind. Again, 2 courses concurrently, and you have to keep in mind that you have to get those courses graded and other things. So we'll touch on that a little bit later once we get more into the strategy. Okay, so I signed into the back office of Sophia. Your backend will look really similar to this. These are all the courses I completed. So there's business law, intro to business, intro to relational databases. I did macroeconomics, principles of finance, Principles of Management, and Project Management. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 courses total through Sophia. Okay, so a couple of things before we jump into the strategy. I kind of want to show you basically how Sophia courses work and why this is one of my favorite ones to use. So when you look at down here, this is how it works. Basically, you complete certain challenges for each course, and you need to achieve a total average score of 70% across the different challenges, milestones, and touchstones. You have to complete each touchstone with a score of at least 50%, and then you have to complete your final milestones, which contribute to your overall course score. And they break down each one. So a challenge, in short, you can read through this. I'll have a link to this as well, but a challenge is basically like a quiz, and there's like several quizzes that are shown in each kind of unit of the course. And then along each unit, you have a unit exam or a milestone, and that's there. And in addition to it, you have a touchstone, which is basically like a written project. So that's, it gives you a rubric, you follow it, respond to the prompt, or submit the project based on the certain guidelines. And then you have a final milestone, which is basically just like the unit milestones. It's just cumulative. So you have everything that you need to kind of review is contained in the final milestone for you to pass overall. And the one thing that's really cool about this that blew my mind, and this is a shout out to my enrollment counselor, because she actually put me up on this. The information that you're reviewing when you're doing an exam, or when you're doing an exam, everything's open book. So let me see if I can actually find proof of that. Oh, here it is. I already searched it up here. But basically, milestones are open book. So what happens is, if you can use your imagination here, on the left side, perhaps you'll have the questions that you're looking through, all the different questions that are part of the milestone or the unit exam. And on the right side, you'll have within the browser all the different units broken down, and you can expand each unit and review the content of that unit to find the answer to the questions. So I don't know, I thought that was really cool. And that applies to the challenges as well as the final exam. So really cool, which is why I think a lot of people are going to have success with Sophia.org, especially because as long as you're familiar with where the content is in the unit, you should be able to find the answers you're looking for. They may be worded a little differently, so it's not like a straight 1-for-1. It's not super easy to find it, but if you know where the content is, you can review it, read it, and see what the best answer would be. All right, so I'm going to show you what the back end looks like when it comes to taking courses through Sophia. As you can see, I'm here at the business law course, and I've already completed my stuff here. I'm not going to show you the actual challenges and things like that, because that would be cheating, and there's really no need, because you have everything you need with this program. You don't need to cheat. It's all here. But I will show you what each of these different symbols represents and how this plays a part in the overall strategy. So again, this is the business law course, and these little yellow check boxes here, these are all challenges. The bookmark, purple and white bookmark icon, is the milestone, and then the touchstones are represented by the shield icon and this kind of magenta, light purple pink color. And lastly, the final exam is shown here with a solid purple bookmark. Now, here's where the strategy comes in. So if you look down here, we'll have all the different units that we need to cover, and you see here's the touchstone. So with the touchstone, one of the things I like to do right away as part of the strategy is to review the touchstone first. And that way I can see what the project entails, or what the writing assignment entails. What's the word count? What are the requirements, like APA style? What exactly are they asking me to answer in the prompt, and just all that information. And I like to start with that first. Now, you can't submit the touchstone until you've completed all of these challenges first. But what I did was I started with this first, worked on it for about a day or two, and then had it ready so that once I got through all the challenges, I could just submit it without having to start it after I've gone through this information. Okay, so that's the first part of the strategy. Just make sure that you're hitting the touchstone first, and that way you have that portion done. And I've only seen one, but I'm sure with an English course or some of the other courses, you may have more than one, which again is more the reason why you should hit those first. Now, as part of the strategy, now that we understand what a touchstone is, one thing you have to realize is that grading papers takes a little while. I used to be a middle school avid teacher, and I hated grading papers, much more for college students. And then with a program that can basically open itself up, I think globally, like Sophia, it's important to know that these things take time. So I've had some papers that took as long as 10 days to grade. On average, though, they should take about 7 business days to grade. And notice I said business days. So if the week is packed with a couple of holidays and then a weekend, that can extend you by another 3 or 4 days, depending on how the week is structured. So it's definitely important to get this stuff submitted as soon as possible. And as the second part of the strategy, I'm going to show you how to pair your courses so that you don't get stuck or bottlenecked as you're going through them. All right, so with the WGU courses, again, we looked at the business law one. This one has a touchstone as part of the course. And again, a touchstone is a written project. And again, I mentioned that they take some time to grade. So as part of as a second part of the strategy, after you've identified one course with a touchstone, the next thing is to pair it with a course that does not have a touchstone. And in this case, the Intro to Business, I don't believe had a touchstone. I think it was all just milestones and challenges. So yeah, we don't see that shield icon here. So it's just challenges and milestone, challenges, milestone, and then the final milestone here. So when you're taking these courses, remember to always pair something with a touch alongside a course that doesn't have a touchstone. And basically, once you finish the course that doesn't have a touchstone, after you complete the final, it calculates your grade automatically. So in this case, you can see I got 88% overall. And once it calculates a grade, you can then change this course out, or not change the course out, but then enroll into another course while your touchstone course is being graded. Okay. And based on how long it takes, you might find yourself completing 2, 3, maybe 4 courses by the time that your touchstone is graded. And that way you're not losing any time. But remember, when you're pairing them, if you have an active touchstone course, so let's go back to the main screen here. If this is my active touchstone course, I'm only backfilling or replacing this course that I completed with a non-touchstone course. So the course does not have a writing assignment. And I'm doing that until this course is finally graded and it falls off my current course list. All right, so we've covered Sophia.org, and just a quick recap. The pros of the program, in my opinion, number one is that it's online. I don't have to go into a physical school or go on campus. Secondly, it's affordable. Again, depending on where you're starting or depending on how quickly you can get through the content, you should be able to get by with just a 1-month membership. But again, if you're taking more courses, then maybe 2 months. But $200 for up to 16 courses is really good, in my opinion. So I like the affordability. Next one, you could take unlimited courses per the subscription window. As many as you can complete, you can take them that way. And then, of course, lastly, it's open book, which to me blew my mind, but it's allowed, so take advantage of it. Now, in terms of cons, I just wish they had more courses. Like, truthfully, I wish I could take all of my courses through Sophia, but they have a limited amount. The other part is that you can only take 2 active courses at one time. So if you mess up and take 2 touchstone courses, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage and you could slow down your progress. The other part is that the touchstone courses touchstone projects or assignments take up to 10 business days to grade. Now, in terms of the strategy, again, you want to pair a touchstone course with a non-touchstone course. You want to complete the touchstone course first, just that way that you can have the grading done. And as soon as you get to that course, go straight to the touchstone, look at the requirements, start creating your outline, creating your paragraphs, do your editing, get your citations together, and have it ready once you complete all the different challenges and milestones leading up to that touchstone project or assignment. And then as you finish a non-touchstone course, immediately enroll in another non-touchstone course. And that way you can keep the momentum going and you're not sitting around waiting for something to happen. All right, so the next school that we're going to look at is study.com. And here's just the homepage. So this is the homepage. You can take a look at it on your own, but I'm going to go through the costs first. And then we're going to talk about some options that you can save some money with, as well as letting you see what the back end looks like a little bit, and then I'm going to discuss the strategy. All right, so at the time of this recording, there is a $200 fee per month that you're in the College Accelerator. And you want to join this College Accelerator because this is the only plan that allows you to get college transferable courses when you complete the proctored final exam at the end of each course. Okay, so it's $200. And basically what you get with this $200, you get to take unlimited amount of courses in terms of the quizzes and the assignments, but you're limited to 2 credited exams. So per $200, you're basically getting 2 proctored exams that you can take that'll actually give you that college transfer credit. Now with study.com, you do have an option to purchase additional proctored exams within a month's time, but based on the current setup, you can only take up to 3 additional courses or additional proctored exams, and each one of those is going to cost you $70 a piece. So when you're looking at the pricing, you can pay close to $410, a little bit less than that per month that you're going through the process, depending on how many courses you need to take through study.com. So based off of what was available for my setup, I had to take 11 courses through study.com. I took 7 through Sophia. I ended up having to pay for approximately 7 additional exams. So 7 times 70, that's $400 and something for $490 for exams. So just something to keep in mind. You'll find a link to an affiliate link with study.com. And if you click on that link, it'll help contribute to the channel, but it'll also give you a discount. So instead of paying like $199, I think you'll pay $135, and that $135 value will be good for 3 months. So each month for at least the next 3 months that you take advantage of the program, it'll cost you $135 per month for the College Accelerator program. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't give you a discount on the additional proctored exams. Those are still $70 a piece, but any savings that you can get is going to help in the long run. All right, so just to demonstrate that I actually did complete what I said I completed, let me go back to the home page here. Let me go back to the dashboard. And as you can see, these are all the different college or courses that I completed under the College Accelerator program. Essentially, these are all the courses I completed. And if I scroll down, you can see the dates that I completed them. So the last one I completed was statistics, which was one of my scariest classes I had to take. But business statistics, organizational behavior, intermediate accounting, principles of marketing, management information systems, computer science, the networking one, employment law, advanced operations and management, human resources, globalization and international management, and then cultural diversity and intercultural communication. So these are all the ones I completed during my time at study.com. And you may be wondering, if you can only take up to 5 courses essentially with the proctored exams a month, then how did you take 11 in a month? To answer your question, I got a slow start when I signed up for study.com. I enrolled in early August, and then I didn't actually get started until like mid to end of August. So I wasted some time. And so my start date was again towards the end of August, and then counting 30 days from that, there's an overlap period where I was charged again for the second month. And so I ended up paying for both months, but it took me, based on the time I started, 30 days from the time I started, like 35 days or so like that. But in short, that's how I got through them. So it may take you 2 months if you start right away. It just really depends on how you go through the program. All right, so let's go ahead and explore some of the courses together. The first one that I'm going to take a look at is Psychology 101. And this is not one that you're required to take at all, but nonetheless, I'm just going to use this as an example. So if you notice, they have the overview, syllabus, credit, and tests. And basically, when you come down here, the grade breakdown is something like this. So you have quizzes you can take, you have a proctored final exam, and those two generally make up the bulk of these courses. And with the quizzes, as you can see up here, So we have 108 quizzes that are part of this course. But again, it's the quiz plus the proctored exam that gives you your overall grade. And in some instances, you actually have a third component, which is a written assignment. Sometimes it's one written assignment, sometimes it's two, it could be up to three. So just keep that in mind. I personally like the courses that have a written assignment because when you look at the scoring policy, and actually let's go there right now so you can see this, the total amount of points that you need or that are available are 300 points in total. And in order to pass each course, you only need 210 points overall in order to pass the course. And as one of my good mentors tells me all the time, it's like C's get degrees. So you can get a C in the class, pass it, and it still counts as a transferable course. No one's really looking at your grades. They just want to confirm that you had the piece of paper, really. Based off of this scoring model, if you had a quiz that you completed, then when it comes to the proctored exam, you only need 110 points. So if you got 100 points in quizzes, which is pretty easy to achieve, and then 110 points in the proctored exam, that'll satisfy the overall completion grade of 70%. And really 110 points looks like maybe a 50 or 56 to 57% passing score on a proctored exam. And again, that just really depends on what other elements are included. Now let's go ahead and talk strategy. And really everything we need to know is pretty much built in here with the exception of the written assignment. As I mentioned, you want to hurry up and knock out the written assignment because that's going to take up to a week to grade and you want to get it out the way while you're completing the rest of the course. Now, unlike Sophia.org, you don't have to wait to complete the quizzes in order to submit the assignment, like the written assignment, if you do see one. So you can submit the assignment, get ahead of that, and then proceed with the quizzes and everything else. Now, before you take any quizzes, you have an opportunity to test out a material that you already know. And I didn't notice this until I got to like my third class and I totally skipped over. I wish I hadn't, but this will be a lifesaver. Again, I have seen quizzes number into the 170 total amount of quizzes. It can be pretty high up there. So if you can take a placement that'll help knock out maybe a third of the quizzes, that's definitely going to be a big plus. Now, one other thing I will mention is that if you are just taking a placement exam and you're doing so without any real understanding of what you're taking and you're just passing it, that could affect how well you do on the proctored exam. So just keep that in mind. Don't just guess. If you don't know it, you have plenty of opportunities to take the quizzes and go after those. Now, the other thing that I want to mention is that as you start completing classes, you'll see that some of the courses or the quizzes that you've completed will actually roll over. So it's like a quiz rollover that happens when you take a course that has related content. Some of those quizzes you took will actually apply as credit towards the quizzes for that new course you're taking. So again, depending on what order you do this in, I recommend grouping like courses together so that way you can get the full advantage. Take the lower division course first. All that work you did in the lower division course should transfer over into maybe the upper version or upper division course version. So if it's a Psychology 101 and maybe you had to take Psychology 107, take Psychology 101 first, and some of those quizzes you transfer over. All right, now the last part of this process, you have video lessons, and these lessons can take 5 to 10 minutes. But again, we want to get through this as quickly as possible. So in my opinion, and what I did was I just went for the quizzes directly. I didn't wait and go through each lesson one by one and then take the quiz. Just took the quiz, got as many as I could right. And then once you do the quizzes, they give you the answers to the ones that you got incorrect, or they'll send you a link to a certain part of a video that you need to watch in order to get that correct answer. Do that and you should be good, because you have up to 3 attempts at a quiz to get 5 out of 5. And personally, I just didn't want to wait to watch a video and then spend 5 to 10 minutes on that, plus maybe 2 or 3 attempts on a quiz. All right. So like we did for Sophia, let's do a recap on study.com. In my opinion, the pros are, again, it's online. You have unlimited courses you can take. And I'm going to use an asterisk with that because it's quizzes and assignments that are limited, not necessarily the final exam. You have the opportunity to do placement tests. and you have that quiz rollover option. I didn't add this on here, but it's also good that you don't have to wait to complete quizzes in order to submit papers. So that's also a plus. Now, in terms of cons, you're limited to 5 exams essentially per month. Again, you're credited on the College Accelerator program. You're credited for 2 exams, and then you can pay for up to 3 additional exams, and they're rated at $70 a piece, which in my opinion is another con, but it is what it is. You have to just pay for the additional courses or additional final exams if that's what you want to do. And I will say that in the second month of my subscription, I was able to reach out to the support team, and they did allow me to pay for 1 additional final exam. So I was able to get, instead of just 3 exams, I was able to take 4. And that kind of helped me complete everything within a timely manner. The other con is that there's like 100+ quizzes. Now, there's a couple of courses that you may get lucky and get like 59 quizzes or 60, but there's still quite a few. And remember, there are 5 to 6 questions each. So you just multiply that. That's how much work you have to do. Plus the number of attempts. It can just feel like a brain drain, but all I can say is just hang in there. Those that endure get the results that they need. The other con is that final exams can take up to 2 weeks to grade, which can be a bit of a downfall. But again, you can reach out to support, see if they can expedite the process. That's what I did. And they fulfilled that request within 2 or 3 days. So it never hurts to ask. Just hit them up and see what they can do for you. And then the other thing is that written assignments, they can take up to a week to grade, which again, is just kind of part of the process. It's less time than Sophia, but it's still time nonetheless. And in terms of the strategy, like I said, skip the videos and the lectures and the reading content and go straight into the quizzes. That's going to work for me. It just takes and shaves off some time for you. Take the placement exams as often as they are available, and then always try to complete and submit the written assignments ahead of time. One thing that I didn't mention on the strategy that I did mention ahead of time, or one thing I didn't mention as recap that I mentioned in part of my strategy also, is to take certain classes that are closely related to one another in a certain order. So there's a Psychology 101 course, and then maybe there's a Psychology 107 course that you need to take. Take the 101 one first, and then those quizzes will have the potential to roll over and give you credit when you're taking the Psychology 107 course. Okay, so that's my strategy for study.com. And now we're going to talk about the transfer process. All right, so one of the key parts to this whole thing in terms of the transfer process is what I call the safety zone. And with all these different schools and strategies, again, the key is to get as much completed as you can in a timely manner so that you can start with as many courses completed already as possible. So in my case, I had all my associate's degree courses done. I completed these 18 courses, and then it leaves me with just 12 courses that I need to take once I officially enroll in WGU and start taking courses. So with the safety zone, you have to remember, and your counselor will go over this with you as well, but as a best practice, you want to get in all of your transfer credits by the first of the month prior to your official start date with WGU. So as an example, let's say that you're starting WGU like I am on November 1st. You will have wanted to get all of your transcripts in by October 1st. So that way everything gets processed. You get set up with your orientation right away, and there's not a whole lot of delays that are impacting you. The transfer department sometimes seems a little overloaded and overrun. And so you just want to put yourself in an advantage when it comes to transferring over into WGU. Now, you're going to talk to some representatives, and even my counselor let me know that there are some exceptions that they can make to extend the deadline by the 5th. Sometimes some students have had up to the 15th of the month before, but you just want to put yourself in the best position possible. You don't want to leave anything up to chance. And if you have a deadline in mind, then you want to be able to stick to it as much as possible. If you think about all these things together, when you factor in the transfer process, you may have to give yourself 2 to 3 months ahead of the date that you actually want to start to get everything completed and submitted over to WGU in a timely manner. So that's just something to keep in mind. I had to push back my start date twice. So initially I thought I was going to start in September, then in October, I eventually pushed it back to November, but that's also why I made a conscious effort to get as much done as I could ahead of time, because I'd already wasted 2 or 3 months in my opinion. And I had a goal of getting this thing done by the end of the calendar year. So by December of 2022, I expect to have my degree in hand and start looking for jobs that pay me what I like to get paid, which is into the 6 figures and up. All right, so here we are. This is my gift to you. Basically, this will kind of get you through the courses as quickly as possible. I did some researches to see how many courses have placement exams, how many of them have, or how many quizzes are involved in each one, and then how many written assignments. So I kind of narrowed down the list based off of what was available, and this should get you through the study.com content as quickly as possible. This is one, or study.com has a majority of the courses you need to transfer over for the IT management degree program. And so if you want to go that route, this is definitely one that'll be helpful. And then for Sophia.org, a lot of their courses are mostly in the way of general ed. So if you need to take some general ed courses, this is a good way to satisfy those. Again, this is for the IT management degree. But you can see here's the core courses, and then here's some of the additional courses. And feel free to download this, open in Excel, sort it the way you want to. But remember, with Sophia.org, you don't want to take a course that has a touchstone with one that doesn't. So keep that in mind when you're scheduling your courses, because you can only take 2 at a time. And these guys take about 10 days or so to grade.
All right, so that was the process. I hope that you gained some insight. I hope that you feel inspired and motivated that, hey, you can do this. Now, I don't want you to feel like you have to do as much as I did or exceed it or whatever the case may be. These are just great options for you to basically get ahead of your schoolwork when you go to WGU. And my focus was the IT management degree program. You may be focused on a different degree program, which is fine. This process may still apply. So there's all kind of different degree roadmaps that you may be pursuing. But if you can get some courses done ahead of time, and if you have been out of school for a while, or maybe you're new to college, or maybe you want to just change things up and not have to attend a physical school location, then I think that the steps that I took and what I shared will help you in that process. So let me know how this works for you. I'm really excited for you. Let me know how this goes. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if this was helpful. Hit me up in the comments, and you can drop the number 18, if you plan on knocking out all 18 courses for this program. And with that said, thank you for watching as always. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share this with somebody you know that's also pursuing their degree. There's nothing that you can't do. It's just a matter of sacrificing a little bit today for the intended tomorrow. All right. My name is Xavier. This is TehcZavier, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Dear me, 3 to 6 months. Watch how I make you proud.